Hello, everybody. This is Blue Knight 7, trying to get out another quick episode of the Blue Knight cast for today. And I wanted to talk about something that's happening tomorrow, which is a 1 hour long state of play for PlayStation. It was abruptly announced, I believe it was yesterday, and I think it's airing tomorrow, Thursday the 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, this one is kind of curious. Obviously, Sony has had these state of plays in the past. It's their equivalent of a Nintendo Direct, not as frequent. Um, but people do look to them to get a sense of what to expect as far as first party games from Sony in the coming year, and some third party announcements too, major ones usually. They always come across as being a lot more blah than, say, a Nintendo Direct, though. That's just my, as someone who has watched them, that's been my perception of them. And, you know, just to be clear, in case I need to declare, qualify myself, I have never owned a PlayStation in my life. Going back to PS1, I've never owned one. Always been a Nintendo person. Though I have took more interest in PlayStation in recent years because a lot of their stuff is going to PC on Steam. So I kind of watch them as a PC gamer, trying to see what might be good to watch out for on Steam. And now I'm kind of watching as a Nintendo Switch gamer, just wondering if there's anything third party wise I should be on the lookout for. So I'll be paying attention to the announcements. The way it's timed, I won't be able to watch it live, but I'll try to catch up later or get a recap later. But just, I want to take a minute just talk about the fact that it's 1 hour long, which is unusual. These are usually more 30-minute affairs. So it's kind of curious as to what they're doing here. Um, I don't think I'm really the best person to make a good predictions video for this, but I'll try to throw a few things out that are probably givens. One is that we're probably going to see some updates on games we've known about but never really got a release date for, which is kind of what that partner direct with Nintendo did a few days ago. I talked about that. I think we're going to get a good chunk of that with this state of play, because there are some games we know about but don't know when we'll hear something about. We know Insomniac has been working on a Wolverine game for quite some time. Kind of wonder if we'll get an update about it. I know that there's this Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. I'm probably getting the name wrong. Sorry to anybody it bothers. But I know that's a fighting game with Marvel characters that's been in development for a bit. Kind of have a unique art style, like a unique interpretation of those characters. I know it's had a Steam page where they've announced some features. I wonder if it gets a date tomorrow. I do think there's some third party games we've known about that will be announced, like Resident Evil, Requiem. Capcom's done the rounds on marketing, so I'm sure RE Requiem will be there. Pragmata may be there. I think there's going to be some of that, which will frustrate people because they feel like they've heard enough about this or that game. But I do think we're going to see that. Soros, that's a game by Housemark. I guess you could call it a first-party Sony game. It had been delayed. I wonder if we'll get a date for it. You kind of get the theme here for me. Do we get dates for these games? I think that's going to be a very important thing for this state of play, especially if it's an hour long. They're probably going to bring these back up to discuss. Could they announce some games going to PC? I think that's possible. That's usually what I'm hoping to see. Uh, Death Stranding 2 would be a big one if they did, I believe. That's probably all I would see from the Kojima's studio, though. I think they're working on that Metal Gear successor called Vivint, but I'm guessing it's not ready to really show yet. Um, so yeah, I mean that's a lot of what I'm saying may happen. Square, I think there's been some talk about could they show something from Kingdom Hearts, like just a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 that we know has been in development for a while. That could be. That could be. Dragon Quest 12 could be. Um, and that's kind of where I'm at. I've also heard some rumblings about there being a rumored 2D or a Metroid style God of War game. That just seems like an odd choice, but okay, sure. If it's real, sure. Um, but that's kind of where I'm at. Um, Maybe I would consider this a surprise if we saw it, but maybe an actual gameplay trailer for Interstellar, uh, the first party game Naughty Dog has been working on recently. I know I saw some news a month or two back saying that they're not as far along as a person might hope for the time put into the game, and how it could be a pretty much a borderline PlayStation 6 game. Um, so there's that. Guerrilla Games, they already announced a Horizon game, a multiplayer game called Hunter's Gathering the other day. So I don't know if we may or may not see it in this state of play. That's kind of where I'm at with this. Like, what new thing could they announce? That's kind of where I'm curious, where I admit I don't have any substantial predictions, and we'll just have to see. But where it's an hour long, I would think there'd have to be something new here. So that's, if you're a PlayStation gamer, I'm gonna say, yeah, this is something to be excited about. Good news. Um, on the third party side, I don't know. EA, I know they've been supposedly working on a couple of Marvel games for a long time. One is, I think there was a Black Panther game in development and an Iron Man game in development. I would love to see a good Iron Man game. But it's EA, so you have to wonder. And so maybe we see that, because we certainly haven't heard about anything else related to those in a long time. That's kind of where I'm at with this. We've had this problem in the current generation, and when I say current, the way I see generations is Switch 1 came early, and then you had Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5. And now Switch 2 kind of started the next gen early. But, it's butting up against Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro. I know not everybody wants to do it that way, but to me that's really what it is, because the Wii U was a generational console for Nintendo, and it was put up against Xbox One, PlayStation 4. That's just how I see it. The Wii U lived a short death, and we got Switch early, and You could say we're getting switched too early, even though there was 8 years between them. And yeah, so I am curious to see what happens with PlayStation 5 in the state of play, because a major complaint about this current generation, what I was about to start to get to a minute ago, was a lot of people feel like we're just now really feel like the generation is getting started, even though Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 has been on the market for about over 5 years now. I believe they both released late 2020. Of course, that was during COVID, which caused all kinds of development snafus. But we are over 5 years in, and there is kind of this feeling like games actually developed for PlayStation 5 are just now starting to like come out or come off the assembly line, so to speak. We had years of a lot of cross-gen games like Horizon Zero Dawn 2, The Last of Us Part 2, I believe. Just a number of games that were both generations or would see a PlayStation 4 release and would get sort of a re-release on PlayStation 5. And it was hard to feel like there was that many games kind of pushing forward and doing what PlayStation 5 could do. And I guess the biggest hope for this would be this is a state of play where we say, yeah, okay, this generation is in full swing now. Even though it's 2026 and you hear a lot of news right now about whether new systems are coming in 2028 or 2030. And it's just a weird time for gaming. It really is. Just a weird time for gaming for so many reasons on so many fronts. But that's my predictions, or what predictions I have for the state of play tomorrow as far as what to expect. But really, I'm saying expect the unknown. Expect some release dates and then expect the unknown. And I hope you enjoy this content. I am trying to put content more out more regular and just do some things to grow, and I hope that you continue watching, subscribe, like this, share this, hit the notification bell, hype this, whatever suits you. And thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I will try to come back tomorrow with maybe whatever impressions I have in the aftermath of this state of play, and maybe talk about something else too. You all have a good day.